welcome back to my reviews of the New Jedi Order. Today we're going to go over the duology written by Aaron Allston called Enemy Lines. Now the two books here were called Rebel Dream and Rebel Stand. And it has Allston in it. You know who else is going to be in it. The Rogue Squadron and the Wraith Squadron. All your favorites are coming back from the X-Wing series, and this is just great. So where are they now? Well, Wedge Antilles, of course, is commander of his own Star Destroyer. It's called the Mon Mothma. I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but Mon Mothma passes away right before the invasion begins. They give the announcement, I think, to Leia before everything goes crazy that Mon Mothma passed away peacefully, in her sleep of old age. So she never got to see any of this. So, of course, one of the newly constructed Star Destroyers is christened the Mon Mothma in honor of her. Now, there's also another squadron that Lucas formed called Twin Suns Squadron. It has your all-star cast. I mean, there's Luke, there's Jaina, there's Mara, there's Corran Horn, Hans and the Falcon. I think Booster Terrick's with them. I mean, all the cool people, you can say an all-star cast, come in for Twin Suns. It's a really awesome squadron. And they, with Wedge, are taking the fight to the Vong and going on raids, successful raids to kind of get small victories back against the Vong. Now, remember, the Vong have taken Coruscant. So really, the war is in their favor, but Twin Suns is trying to even the odds there by winning, getting some small victories here and there. Now, this is where Wedge comes up with an idea. He said, hey, you know what? Let's entrap the Vong by pretending we're developing and letting this information slip, that we are developing a new super weapon called the Star Lancer. It's a cool idea, right? Because Star Wars is all about super weapons. And according to reports by Nominar, the Empire is full of old super weapons, and who's to put the New Republic past that? Because the desperate times call for desperate measures, and maybe they're developing a super weapon now. Now, this super weapon, it can supposedly shoot through hyperspace, so they can, it's like a big sniper gun in the galaxy, and they can just kill anyone anywhere in the galaxy once it's developed. Now, of course, the Vong believe this, and they're going to fall into this trap. Meanwhile, though, Luke hands the reins of the Twin Suns squadron over to Jaina, and she runs agent that is breaking down the Durocrete and kind of breaking down the cities. And remember, Coruscant is one big city, so these levels are getting destroyed, and a lot of things from the depths of Coruscant are being awakened. One of those things that gets awakened is a Dark Jedi. Now, his name is Dark Lord Nayax. We've never seen him before. He rises from the rubble. He's just mad. He's got so much power too, dark force power. In fact, he rips to shreds a complete, all these Vong and Voxen. He just blows through them all. Vicky Shesh, the traitor senator, is now, among the ranks of the Vong now. Ever since they've invaded Coruscant, she stayed because she has nothing to worry about. She's been working with the Vong ever since. So she's in charge of this battalion. They go after Dark Lord Nayax, and he just eliminates them all. Vicky Shesh escapes, and she runs for ever-loving life. Well, she comes across Luke in the race. Well, now she's trapped. She doesn't want to get captured, so basically she commits suicide so that no one can get her. So her end is taken care of here in the Aaron Allston storyline. Now, meanwhile, there's the problem with Darth Lord Nayax. When I was reading this storyline, I was so mad when this character came about. I was like, you just made up a Dark Jedi that we've never heard of, that's super powerful, who, he's just been slumbering under the, ruins of Coruscant. I was like, this is garbage. And I remember just absolutely thinking, man, Allston, you took the cheap way out. You just created some kind of super-powered Dark Jedi to fight, Luke and friends. Dumb. But then we get Darth Lord Nayax's origin. Folks, I'm sorry, I gotta spoil this. It was one of the biggest surprises to me while reading the New Jedi Order. It really was. This is probably the biggest connection I never saw coming. We've read about Darth Lord Nayax. He was Eric Ismarin. If you remember Children of the Jedi, Ragonda, who was another hand of Palpatine, actually had a son named Eric. And both of them kind of disappeared at the end of the storyline. Now, you thought Barbara Hamley, or at least I thought Barbara Hamley, was going to continue their storyline and Planet of Twilight. But she didn't, and we never knew what happened to him, and that always bothered me. Reading the Bantam books, I went, so they just disappear, that's it? They're never going to mention him again? I thought that was so weak. Aaron Allston, my man, he says, no, I'm going to bring him back. I'm going to tell you what happened. See, Luke finds the you know, the old home, I guess you could say, or the shelter that Darth Lord Nyx has been hiding out this whole time, and they find the skeleton remains of his mother, Ragonda. She's been killed, most likely from Eric. He killed her. Eric had a chip, if you remember, in his brain, an implant, and it's kind of gone haywire over time, causing him to go insane and causing him to be a dark Jedi. And we already knew he had the Force in him, and maybe he was super powerful in the Force. But it doesn't matter. Once that reveal was made, I instantly bought into it, loved the idea of the character, loved the character itself, and I remember got on the phone and called anyone who would listen to me. My best friend Bruce was like, Bruce, have you read this yet? He went, I'm not reading. This is where my best friend stopped reading the New Jedi Order. Not that he was, you know, disenchanted with the books. He just, you know, life was really going on for him. He was recently married with a kid, new job, and so he just didn't have time to read as much. So he would let me just spoil the story for him, and I couldn't help it. I just had to I had to tell someone. I was so excited about this connection. And so he's super powerful. He fights with 8 lightsabers, okay? And he's taken down the Jedi. So it takes all the Jedi to defeat him. I won't really talk about how he's defeated, but I will mention that Tahiri is with them on the mission, and because of her Vong forming, you know, her kind of Vong DNA that she's been kind of transformed a little bit, she is invisible in the Force now to some Jedi. Now, moving back to the Star Lancer story, which basically wraps up the rest of the story here, the Star Lancer is a fake. The Vong fall for it. The Star Lancer is this ship, but it's just a ramming ship. Now, this is very similar to what happened during the Corellian trilogy. I don't know if that was meant to be a connection like that, like they were thinking about what happened during the Corellian trilogy and how those ships ended up being ramming ships and just fooling them all. The windows were painted on, and it really hurt their fleet. So maybe Wedge remembers that battle and says, we'll do the same thing. We'll make this big ramming ship and just shoot it and ram it straight through the Vong forces. And it works. It works really well, and it's just a punch in the face, a little bloody nose for the Vong to go back with. So even though the New Republic haven't retaken Coruscant, at least they've got a win going for them. I should also mention there's this other storyline where the Hutts have made a deal with the Vong, you know, just to kind of, you avoid Nal Hutta, you know, our area, and we'll give you information. But the thing is, though, the Hutts are working both sides of the war, right? They're also giving information to the New Republic. And the Vong know this, and so they're going to be using the Vong to feed them false information as well. So I like how the Vong aren't too stupid. They're like, hey, we weren't born yesterday, and no Minars already told us about you. We already know you can't be trusted. Sure, we'll do this alliance. Maybe you'll give us information, maybe not, but we're going to give you fake information because we know exactly who you are. So I do love how the Vong are actually a little bit smarter than the Hutts as well. That's really cool. All right, folks, that's it for now, but I'll be back next time with another video.